Alright guys, hello, welcome back to the Flutter learning video. You see, I kinda took a few days break. I couldn't study, but now I kinda forgot everything. Not everything, I just don't know where I was, how I was, but this learning video reminds me where I was, what I'm gonna do, what I did. This is the main purpose of this video because I look back and I see what I did. What I did last time was I stopped at Flutter introduction to widget learning video, and that's it. I literally stopped there because I started with the full stack development learning video. You know why I did this? Because I kind of covered all the Flutter basics. Now all I have to do is look into every widgets and every designs and how to go into pages and stuff. So it's have covered all the basic stuffs. I have covered the most of the basic stuffs, how this widget works. Here you go. Introduction to widgets. That's where I stopped. I remember it. Okay. Now after this, these are all every piece of the every user interface, but the real challenge that starts at the data and backend. That's where the real challenge starts, because that's completely backend. These are all front-end elements, but this is a backend element. But I was thinking about what is the more efficient way to learn it. And that's when I found certain videos such as this of Flutter Pro. You see that? How I learned Flutter in 7 days. It's easy. It actually takes like 5 or 6 days, but yes, 7 days is a good. If you don't take any gaps, you can just rush it in 7 days. You can literally learn Flutter in 7 days. Yes, it's possible. All you have to do is focus and commit. But I was so like I didn't have much time to study due to my work. Certain family relation stuff and came up, and I took a break, like a few days. But if I'm gonna start doing all this, but I want to do it more efficient. You see, if you go to YouTube, you see after 4 years of Flutter instruction, here are my 5 tips for newcomers. There are a lot of videos like this. The most title that you can look for is how to start development career more efficient. This is something a lot of the developers that do YouTube, they will tell you. They will tell you what to do. See how to maximize your product. There's another title that they do. How I will study if start over. Yeah, how I would learn if I could start over. Remember this topic. This is something the very experts software developers, that's what they tell you. They will tell you their journey and how to shorten the journey. They may have a long trip. They may have had, see, if I could start over, this is something you learn from the pros. This is something, this is a method that you learn from the others, how they became, and you do this, you follow. I mean, just don't watch one videos. Watch all of them. Yeah, this is the guy. This is the guy I watched earlier. How I would learn if I could start over. This is the video I watched earlier, and it was efficient. The way he did and the way he told certain informations, they were really helpful. So what you need to do is watch few of these videos, 1, 2, 3, watch at least 3 or 4, because you know why I'm saying watch few of them. You see, what she's saying is she's saying about Python, and what he's saying is, I'm pretty sure he's saying about React or something, or maybe other
with just a laptop, internet, language really, classes and other object-oriented programming principles.
He's telling about Python. Wait, why everybody's telling about Python? He's also telling Python, but it's a machine learning. Yeah, I noticed the ML, and I noticed it was not a software development. Yeah. Look what he's saying. Everyone have their journey in their own
This
language.
is how I would learn to code if I could start over. For context, I work at Microsoft, but before that, I did 6 internships across 3 countries. So yeah, I've done a line or 2 in my life. Wait, not like that. To tell you what I would change, I first need to tell you what I did. I started coding in grade 11. Well, sorta. We started with this language called Scratch. It's basic game development made for children. Nobody would be stupid enough to, let's say, do an entire Google coding interview in this language and maybe even do shots every time the code fails. So let's just skip that and get to the important stuff. I went to Waterloo, and in order I learned first Racket, then C, C++, HTML, CSS, TCL, Python, Java, JavaScript, C#. Some of these were in class, some were on their own. Here's the motivation behind each. Racket for recursion, C for memory management, C++ for object-oriented design, HTML and CSS for web development, although these are not real programming languages, they're markup languages. TCL, I did an internship and it's fucking useless. Python, I learned this alone and over time, but mostly just for side projects. Java and JavaScript for backend and front-end web development. And finally C#, which I do for my full-time job now, but it's essentially Microsoft's version of Java, so let's not talk about it. C and C++ are by far the most useful languages to learn. After I learned those, I realized most other programming languages are essentially
okay. In this video, he covered multiple language and what he did, and what he did was not because he had to do it for the job, because certain companies will use some, how can I say, their own language, a small language. They will pick a small language and they will develop on it. The reason they do that, because they want to be unique, they want to be different. Okay, let's see what he talks about.
So if I had to start from 0, this is what I would do. In this video, I'm going to explain grind. This would reinvent the wheel, okay? Not a professional.
Oh, he's talking about day trading. Okay, forget it. I should fucking read more carefully. Okay, these are the type of the videos where the pros explain how your journey should be. Okay, so now today we're going to look into this guy. Wait, Flutter, if I could start over. I mean, why look at one guy? Let's look at multiple guys. Okay, let's look at this guy. He did 4 months ago. He only had 129 views. It's alright. It's alright. Sometimes a small viewers. Wait, what? There isn't much Flutter. What happened to Flutter? I mentioned Flutter and there's no Flutter video. Okay. This guy talks about Python, JavaScript, React, Docker, AWS. Okay, what he's talking about is complete backend, frontend, and a container, and it goes to cloud deployment. Funny thing is, he uses Python as a backend, because Python frontend could be a little bit complicated, because I learned that too. JavaScript and Python, wow. I really don't understand why everybody's saying Python, Python, Python. Yeah, there we go. How did I learn Flutter so fast?
Alright, so let's start with this. If you don't want to watch the entire video, then I've left links to all the materials and resources.
Okay, you know
that I
what?
would
Forget it. I found a video that after 4 years, this video, I found it by accident, but
I haven't created
it
a
does
YouTube
not
video in a while,
pop up
so
in the
let's get
search.
started here. I'm gonna try to help people more this year. And this video, I'm gonna talk about 5 tips to learn Flutter like a pro. Take that word as you will, right? Pro. But if I was starting over myself again, learning Flutter, I would want to probably take this advice for myself because I would have saved myself a lot of time. So the problem a lot of people have, and what this advice is targeted for, is people who spend months and months and months, and they are stuck in kind of like learning the same stuff. They don't know what their learning path should be. They're stuck in a tutorial hell. They still can't build a basic app or apply for a job or a freelancing position. So I think it's a matter of getting your learning path down and learning, like understanding what the best things to learn are, trying to understand what to avoid learning, and build things. Like learn how to build first, rather than getting too obsessed with learning every little feature under the sun with Flutter. So before we start, if you don't know me already, my name's Nick. I have this YouTube channel where I help people learn Flutter and just give my advice. I've been coding for 20 years. 10 years of that has been in mobile development. I've worked with Fortune 500 companies and startups, building mobile apps. And I have been teaching Flutter for about 4 years now. So these are just my personal pieces of advice. You don't have to, you can disagree with them, that's fine, but this is just my advice and what I've seen in both very large teams and very small teams. So tip number 1, learning as a new Flutter developer is a multiplayer game, right? It's not single player. You're going to learn the best when you connect with people. And software engineers, yes, they're mostly kind of introverted, of your code. And what to kind of double in Flutter. A lot of newcomers to engineering, there is no such thing as the best of anything. There are great products, great technologies out there. There are not so great technologies out there. So project might be too.
Okay, the reason I'm skipping is because he simply talks about common stuffs. He's not getting into the tips.
Simple. And it's just going to be overkill and waste your time. So don't get too obsessed with that. Learn how to focus on the basics of software engineering, and you can soak up different practices as you go, and then choose the one that's right for you. Number 4, if you're a newcomer to mobile...
Okay, what he says is practice. That's what he says. He simply is not specific about it.
Or in general, programming patterns for mobile development, and trying to learn what the best is will waste your time. Because if I were to bet money on it, if you're actually serious about applying for a real Flutter position somewhere, most likely there are going to be people that are going to say, look, we already take this approach. We don't want to use your architecture pattern, right? Or this project might be too simple, and it's just going to be overkill and waste your time. So don't get too obsessed with that. Learn how to focus on the basics of software engineering, and you can soak up different practices as you go, and then choose the one that's right for you. Number 4, if you're...
What he meant by that is learn the basic. You don't have to know how to create stuffs and apply for the job. What you need to do is make your own project. Simply do some project. Don't do copycats like others. I mean, they program stuff and you follow it. No, don't do that. Simply make something on your own, like make a YouTube page, display something, or you have to make something on your own.
Mobile development, focus on the skills and widgets you need versus ones that people tell you they think you need, right?
So you can binge watch on YouTube all you want, or take as
Yeah.
many courses as you want. And all of those courses or mini courses or whatever, they're obligated to teach you a very comprehensive list of skills, because they're just trying to cover all the bases. But
Yeah. That's what all the tutorials about. They will literally cover all the basics. He said basics, not bases. Maybe it's the subtitle problem. They all just cover basics. They do not give you advanced. That's for why I choose to stick with these, because you literally learn some advanced stuffs here, because they literally put everything. And what's more is, you see these documents they have. Wait, I am in the document section now. Yeah, I am in the document section. It has everything, every single aspect, every single features they have installed. It will be in their documents, but it will not be in any tutorials. You will see it will not be in any tutorial or any teaching sessions, because they will tell you the list of things that you need to. They will not tell you everything. They will.
it's likely you're not going to need
Let's
those
listen a
skills.
bit more.
I won't go into what those skills may be, because it's very contextual and based on everyone's requirements. But what I think you might want to consider learning is the absolute basics, and that's what I went over previously. Can you write a very basic app, no matter what it does, and can you show people that and put it in a portfolio somewhere? Focus on that first before learning how to build extremely complex user interface, and or learning some very exotic feature of Flutter that you may never use, right? If it's fun to you and you find it interesting, great, go ahead and do that. But honestly, if you want to get a job or a freelancing gig or whatever, just focus on the boring basics first. I don't think it's boring, because I like to teach Flutter and I like very simple apps, but just focus on practical skills first and what you can show off in your portfolio. 5, the last tip. This is the big one, because I have a lot of
show off in portfolio. That's what you make some project and build that project, and mention it in your resume that you built this project. That's what portfolio is.
content and thoughts on this.
I mean,
and
you
it's
just
gonna
show
probably
off your
spur a lot
skills.
of conversation. So
Show off,
here we
not
go,
show
right?
up. Show off.
Flutter is not the only skill you will learn if you want a career in mobile development. There's a lot that goes into writing mobile
Yep,
apps.
React
and
Native, Ionic.
Flutter's
Well,
role
the
is
tons of
to
stuff.
draw and render things on a user interface, on a screen somewhere. And it supports cross-platform rendering of that. So Android, iOS, Windows, Linux, web, whatever, right? If you want to stay focused only on user interface development, that's amazing. That's fine. You can do that. You can just focus only on the fact that you are a Flutter engineer and you just do UI development. That's totally fine. But let me give you an example. If you want to build an amazing app idea and you want to do it yourself or with another person, you're going to have to learn other skills such as marketing, branding, making an amazing app icon, writing awesome copy, taking awesome screenshots, learning how to do customer support, managing app updates and bugs and all that stuff like that. So there's a lot of non-technical work that goes into Flutter development, especially if you're a small team member. If you're part of a larger team or a small startup, you're going to have to learn about other things that are outside Flutter development. Can you set up push notifications, right? And are they effective? Can you report logs that are if your app crashes, or just error logs to a remote service? Can you integrate that? That's not related to Flutter per se. Can you offer the same functionality to a web app, but also your Flutter app, right? So that's starting to get into the realm of full stack mobile development. If you have any advice, questions, just feel.
Okay, what he's saying is, for example, it's called integration or deployment. If you deploy an app, you need certain other things, such as it covers in a REST API, the notification he mentions. You need to push notifications are not in the something you build an app. It's something you send a data from your app and it will do another job in a remote or in the cloud. Okay, so what he's saying is full stack web mobile development is not something Flutter is a designer designing. You create app, but there are certain other things that you need to learn. This full stack development, if you look at Flutter, you can see a certain thing called Firebase.
Flutter to how to
Is it in them? Art reload. Okay, it's not mentioned. There's something called Firebase. That's a backend for the things he mentioned right now. It's all in the Firebase.
Feel free to email
Google Firebase. You can just search
I'll
it
try
to see
kind
what
of
it
answer
does.
everyone that emails me. It's just nick@fluttercrashcourse.com, and you can also reach out on my Discord server, and I'll put that link below. And if you're interested in learning Flutter, I create videos.
Okay, what he said is not actually tips. It's just a common learning curve. It's not exactly a tips. It's a common learning curve, and he talks about certain features such as, how can I say, what you need to do if you want to be more successful in Flutter. Just not learn Flutter, you have to go way more than Flutter. Oh shit, why did I click that? It's my habit, sorry. I literally see some funny videos, I click it and watch it and waste my time on YouTube. This is something I do more often.
works in Flutter.
It's very
So
distracting,
stay
like you
tuned
see
for that.
songs,
Hey
you
friends,
click
welcome
it,
back to
you
the
see,
channel.
oh,
If you're new here, my name is Mohammed.
oh wait,
I
it's
am
my
a
video.
developer for
Yeah,
more than
nice.
half year and create
My
millions
videos
of
comes up
subscribers.
in my,
Before starting this video,
I think the
please
one I'm
don't
using is
forget
not my
every
own
link I will
channel,
mention in this video
because
are
this
in
is my
description
gaming
and
channel actually.
because you will need them.
This
Now,
one is
let's
my
jump into the video.
another YouTube
Now
account.
first
Well,
we'll
anyway,
learn
let's not talk
what
about
is
that.
Flutter and how is it different. In this case, after this video, you should get to build
Flutter
an app for
overview.
it.
Don't look into
and
it.
run And try
Do
to
not look into this Flutter overview.
understand folder structure. State doesn't change like a text or an image. As the name states, it which code take content package. Multiple tabs. Check out complete guide in documentation of these examples in cookbook. Flutter has a form widget.
Okay, what he's saying is, look at cookbook. That's not something I'm doing right now. What he's saying is this. Blah 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 blah. This is something I'm doing. I didn't start to do it because of some videos. I did it because it felt like more efficient way to know stuff. And that's what he's saying.
Build a form that efficiently manages the essential requirement of form. For example, state of form, validation, and so on and so forth. Check out complete guide in documentation
What is this
of
on the
form in
bottom?
cookbook. To get the user inputs and some time to make the app super
There's something running in the bottom. Did he like render it or something?
interactive, we maximize the use of gestures. Flutter has pre-built widgets to cover this. For example, adding material ripple effect, handling taps, swipe to dismiss. Check out the complete guide in documentation of gestures in cookbook.
Yeah,
To
boy.
make a beautiful and connected with third party.
Okay, how I would learn Flutter if I could start over. But the method he mentions is something that I'm already doing it. So now you know why I'm already going in a good direction. Okay, now before I start building layouts, the reason I'm not starting it right now is because if I start it, I should end everything without taking a break or stopping it for one day. This is something you have to commit to. Layouts in Flutter, creative, adaptive, and responsive apps. I start this will start and cover up all the front ends. Navigation and routing. I think it's going to be like map or something. animations, advanced UI. Even though I have some time today, but I'm not going to start anything because this is something, before you start to learn, you need to know, will you be successful? But it's an overthinking theory, but still, you have to look into it because it's how you do something more efficient. Okay, now we will start with layouts in Flutter in the next video, and next videos maybe like 1 hour, 2 hour or something, because once I start this, I'm not going to stop. I'm gonna literally start this and this maybe like a 3 hour or 4 hour video. I'm gonna literally end this and I'm gonna make something, and I'll talk about that later. But for now, how to do it more efficiently, and now I'm glad that I learned that I'm doing efficiently because of the YouTube videos that we just watched. That guy telling us how to do it efficiently, and the other guy was telling us what you should do and what you need to do and what you need to understand. But this is something I have come up with, but I'm glad to know that I'm doing it right. Alright, thank you guys for watching video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I know this video of mine is a little bit drag. I'll try to make it simple. I'll try to make it a little bit short, and next time I will not drag it out. Also, yeah, thank you. I'll make it simple next time. Thank you for watching.